Monday, which means it's time for our weekend box office report, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. Continuing its reign over the box office, the Merc with a Mouth, Deadpool, was at number one again, bringing in $55 million this past weekend. The R-rated superhero pick has now made $235.4 million domestically. And number two was Kung Fu Panda 3, pulling in $12.5 million. The animated sequel has now earned $117.1 million since its end of January debut. The faith-based drama Risen has made $11.8 million to take the number 3 spot. At number 4, the critically acclaimed The Witch Scared Up, $8.7 million.
Scared Up. I see what you did there.
And coming in at number 5, the romantic comedy How to Be Single with $8.2 million. John, were you surprised that Deadpool took the number 1 spot again?
No, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that it was because nothing new that was coming out was going to top 50 million this weekend. You knew that absolute bottom was going to be the number for Deadpool. Really excited to see. I believe I saw that Deadpool, which they consider part of the X-Men universe, is now like the number 1 X-Men film of all time domestically, or something like that already, which is kind of crazy. The Witch. Saw The Witch, because I hadn't seen it as of last week. Saw The Witch. So impressed with this movie. I mean, I am actually stunned to hearing a lot of people in the horror fan community crapping on this movie, which just blows my mind, because this is an excellent film. This movie is so well put together. It's so great. Really good to see that. I thought Race would do a little bit better. Race finishes out of the top 5. Which I thought was going to finish a little bit higher, ended up making $7.2 million, finished in 6th place. I was expecting a little bit better from that, but absolutely no surprise, no doubt. Deadpool pulling in another $55 million, which is just fantastic. Schnepp, what about you?
Yeah, I was Deadpool obviously is staying in the lead. The other films, The Witch is the one I'm looking forward to the most to see. I remember you saw it early, and you said it was actually really frightening and scary and tense, and you feel the same way. So
Beautifully made film.
I'm really excited about that. Got to brag a little bit about my predictions from last week. I was in London, just soaking it all in. Thanks for all the tweets and emails about me being right and these guys being wrong. It's just kind of fun to.
You were only
Can I point out something?
No, John Kippy is about to point out, like, he has 100 this and he only got 3 right. That's wrong, actually. I already read your tweet. That's
3!
not actually
3!
No,
But I will also
I
say
had
this.
to beat him to the punch because it's like that's not true.
In
Actually,
November,
my predictions that I made a point of making was really The Force Awakens,
which you nailed.
and then it was also
There was another one you nailed, like that everybody else got wrong.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians, yes.
That's the one, and then Deadpool. All the other ones we do the predictions like we normally do Fridays. It's
But
not
in November, I remember specifically on one of our shows,
Right.
you specifically said that, and I think it was like November 5th, November 6th. You said Deadpool in its second week will make $55 million.
No, I didn't.
That is the most impressive one you've done so far.
I really wish I did do that.
You nailed that one.
He's trying to detract from my awesomeness, but it's not going to work, Campia. Anyway, I'm very happy that it did break 100 million because now I get to have Gore count out 25 singles for me in front.
I want to. We got to film that.
That's going to be on Heroes.
We've got to
tomorrow.
film that.
We
Chris,
will film
I
it.
want to see, and I want it in $1 bills.
That's exactly
I
what I
want him
said.
to peel it out in $1 bills.
I asked him. I said I want $1 bills, so that's what he's going to bring.
It's 25 $1 bills.
25
so you're
$1
going
bills.
to the worst strip club in America.
Yeah. I'm actually
25
I'm
$1
taking that
bills.
money and I'm going to go see Deadpool again with it. So that's what I'm doing.
But let me ask both of you guys this question though. Okay, the fact of the matter is, you don't often see a movie with this high of an audience response. So I think the audience rating on Deadpool is right around the 95%.
Right, incredible.
Critical rating is through the roof. Audience ratings through the roof. It almost took a 60% drop from week 1 to week 2.
Right.
Do you guys think that a lot of that just has to do with the fact that, look, nobody, not the studio, not anybody, expected it to make $135 million week 1. Do you think the fact that everybody did get out in that first week is what's attributing to the drop-off here, or is there something else?
Absolutely. It's because it made so much money in its first weekend is why there's a 60% drop-off. It has no reflection on the quality of the film or anything to do with that because $55 million opening weekend is what some people thought this movie was going to make.
Right.
It's just a reflection that it made so much more money than anybody except for John Schnepp, the Oracle, thought it would the first weekend, that $55 million seems like a huge drop-off. It's just because it made so much money first weekend. weekend.
Yeah, I think it's like you're saying. I mean, the lines were around. Everyone was surprised. Like, I went to go see it, and there were just lines around the theaters to see the film. And it really was because of that viral marketing. And it's just like the awareness made everyone really want to see this, even people who weren't into superhero films. So I think that's kind of the reason it's still going to keep succeeding. I'm sure next week it'll be like, it won't drop too much. I don't think. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that's my read on this situation, too. Well, one is that we're all going to hell because Deadpool and a panda beat Jesus at the box office. And then Race is something that I'm with you. I was really bummed out that it didn't make the top 5. I didn't actually get a chance to get out and see the movie this weekend, but anything about Jesse Owens, I really want to see, and it looked like it could have been like the early in the year feel-good sports story that we like, something like a 42 or $1 Million Arm, and it doesn't look like it's going to resonate with audiences. I'm thrilled that The Witch got released in over 2,000 theaters because, like you, I saw the movie and was blown away. I wanted people to get out there and check it out, and a lot of the things I was seeing online this weekend about cinema score, about how it's the audience's reaction to it, and it was hovering around a C, which is like, that's not that great. And so maybe some people went into The Witch thinking it was going to be something else, thinking it was going to be more jump scary paranormal activity than it turned out being. But if you go watch that movie with the right frame of mind, you can get freaked out psychologically, and those are really the best scares, in my humble opinion.
Definitely.
And Deadpool's success, one other thing too, is a lot of people right now are trying to ascribe Deadpool's success to the fact that it did have such a remarkable marketing campaign. And you guys have heard me say this before. I think it was the single best marketing campaign I've ever seen for a movie. And everybody's saying, well, that's why. I mean, it's not that special of a movie. You can have a great marketing campaign, but if you don't have great material behind that campaign, it's only going to get you so far. This was just one of those great things of lightning in a bottle where you had great material, because this movie is awesome, paired with people who knew how to market that material. So I think it was a mixture of the two.
It was better than the marketing. That's
it really was.
We all went and saw it, and literally it was like, man, they built this up. I don't know how it's going to beat its marketing, and it was better than we expected. I think all of us. It's such a fun film. Just don't take your kids to see it. It's definitely a hard R, and I keep seeing people talking about seeing it. I was sitting next to a family with like an 8-year-old. I'm like, don't ruin that kid.
I had somebody tweet me, and they asked me about, hey, should I take my 11-year-old to see it? First of all, I am not, nor have I ever claimed to be the authority on what you should take your kids to. I don't like kids. I don't want to have any. I get nervous around my niece and nephew. I don't have any parenting advice for you. Now, having said that, did I say, yeah, go ahead and take them to see it? They'll be fine. Of course I did.
I will cut a lot of parents some slack, because I went to go see it again on Saturday night, and there was actually a mom and dad and like a 9 or 10-year-old boy there. But you got to cut some people like that some slack, because not everybody is like you and like us, where we're plugged into the movie sphere online. Where think about it. You see these commercials.
Right.
It's a superhero film, Red Mask. You see these billboards of a love story. Right. And some people probably went in not realizing. And I could tell from the poor married couple sitting beside us, a few chairs over, they're like keep looking at each other.
I love my calendar girl.
Eventually, as good parents would, about a third of the way through the movie, they got up and took little Jimmy out.
It wasn't really that bad.
It's
I really don't think it was. I feel like the jokes were so. I don't want to say. I mean, they were like
National Women's Day,
sophisticated that it would go over a kid's head.
There's also bullets that go through heads.
Well, I guess
and
that's
an awful lot of swearing.
Extremely violent.
And a lot
in
of
a fun
swearing.
way for adults that understand that.
But something about the box office this weekend, my heart breaks a little bit for Zoolander. I know the ratings are bad, but it's in its second week and it's not even the top 5. That's so
actually,
sad.
I heard it sucked.
I know.
I
haven't
didn't
even
see
seen
it.
it. I saw
didn't see
Deadpool and I wanted to see Zoolander so bad. But because Deadpool's marketing was so great, I went to see Deadpool and I haven't seen Zoolander.
You made the right decision. I was at LAX yesterday and they still had like the huge Zoolander 2 thing, and I was surprised that it's still there. It's like, let's just get this thing out.
Awkward.
Their new billboards are like, Zoolander 2, come on, give us a break.
Yeah, right?
We try.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.